So Mario and Jimena were very competitive, and they challenged each other in math class when the teacher put this expression on the board. Mario went ahead and just crunched the numbers. He's like, okay, we got this. Oh, yeah. And then, let's do this. 40 divided by 5 is 8. And then he multiplied 8 with 8. He did that off to the side, and he left the expression in the middle all nice and neat and orderly, which is what you should do. 144 minus 4. He ended up getting 140. Okay? Jimena, though, said, you're wrong, Mario. And Jimena did pretty much what what Mario did, but she handled it in a different order. She hopped over to the multiplication first. She was very careful, like Mario, wrote everything else down. I'm going to do that off to the side. And then Jimena finished with this and ended up with this. Well, obviously, those are quite different answers. And if there wasn't a set of guidelines or rules or steps that everybody were to follow, then this would be acceptable. Different values for the same expression. So I think you know where I'm getting, or know what I'm hitting at is, we're going to be taking a look at evaluating expressions using the correct order of operations. Okay? Which of these is correct? Is it either? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it neither? Are they both wrong? So we'll take a look at the order of operations, and there's a cute little mnemonic I'm sure you've heard. Might be a good way to help you remember. Okay? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to evaluate some expressions using order of operations. Allow us to practice and practice and practice with our exponents, practice with our multiplication. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to just move this up a little bit. Well, the order of operations could be remembered by this mnemonic. It's nothing new. You've heard it before. PEMDAS. Okay? And the P in PEMDAS refers, or the P stands for parentheses. It pretty much means grouping symbols. So any kind of a grouping symbol within an expression would get attention first. Symbols. Okay? Well, what are you talking about, Mr. Whately? Well, this right here does not have any parentheses involved in it at all. So here we don't need to really, be concerned about it. Okay? If I were to maybe write this one or show you this one, then the very first thing that would get our attention would be the grouping symbols, meaning we would do what's inside those first. Okay? Well, think of this as like a mental checklist. Checking off the boxes as you go. Okay? Now the next thing to look for within the expression, the E. E represents or stands for exponents. Okay? Well, of course, maybe this isn't the best example, but this expression does not have any exponents. This expression does. So on this one here, we would do what's in the parentheses first, the difference of 7 and 5. I'll leave the parentheses, although I don't need to. And then the second, after we've checked that off the list, these parentheses, they're not grouping any operation anymore. So don't worry about that. This up here, it's grouping these operations. We do what's in there first. And then the next thing to do would be to check off our list after we're done with the grouping symbols is exponents. And what I want to see you do every single time is what this person's doing is they're doing one thing at a time and they're copying the rest. Half the time that students miss this, they miss these types of problems is they're not writing down all the steps and everything they've done one at a time. Okay? Now the next step would be, after the parentheses, check exponents, check. The next thing to do would be the M and the D. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? The M and the D represent multiplication and division. And how can you tell which goes first? Well, you move within the expression from left to right. Well, in this case here, we only have one of those operations. Okay, so that's definitely what comes next. So the multiplication, division. Multiply or divide. It's kind of like waiting at the snack bar. Okay, whoever's first in line gets to go first. Taking a look at this expression, there are no parentheses, there are no exponents, but we've got the multiplication and division. So what order do we follow? Well, if you take a look, consider this the front of the line, we're going left to right. We're going to do this first, because multiplication or division, they have the same priority. You have to go from left to right. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one thing at a time. 20 times 8. Oh, beans. And I'm going to copy the rest of the expression. I'm going to copy it neatly and in the same order. That's kind of neat. All right, now look, I've completed the multiplication. Now I'm left with the last part of this is the division. 160 divided by 10. I like to draw this little connector thing here. 160 divided by 10 is 16. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. Very good. All right. Now, the last operations, the lowest ones on the totem pole, the least urgent, A and S, represents adding and subtracting. Okay? And the order in which they are completed is just like the multiplication division. Left to right. That's why I kind of like to write PEMDAS like this. Okay, a lot of kids for some reason think the multiplication comes before division or addition comes before subtraction. No, it doesn't. Okay, so that's one hookup with the one drawback to PEMDAS. So I'm going to go ahead and add or subtract, and I'm going to do that in a left to right direction. So who's on the left first is this. So I'm going to add first. 10 plus 16. Copy. Alright, and then the very last step in this case appears to be subtraction. I think, is that right? Yeah. So the value of this, if you follow the correct order of operations, the value of this would be 18. Okay? So let's go ahead and complete a couple examples based on PEMDAS, following the order of operations. Alright, let's go with 8 minus 6 divided by 2 plus 3 times. I'm using the raised dot for multiplication. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and do this then. You've written it down, you've written it down. Do we have any parentheses? No. Any exponents? No. So I'm checking them off my list. Multiplication or division? Yeah, we do. We've got that. We got this, and we got that. Okay, well, if we take a look at it, how do you know which one goes first? Well, again, priority goes, you move from left to right. So the one that's on the left of these two operations is division. And I really need for you to do this. I need you to write things out. Okay? So 6 divided by 2 is 3. This is 3, so I'm going to copy everything else. 8 minus, this is the 3, plus 3 times 5. Okay? Now I'm going back. No, we did parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide. Ah, look, we divided. Now we need to multiply before we move on to the subtracting and adding. So that's 15. Copy, 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 copy. Multiplication, division are gone, so now we subtract or add. Again, whoever has the one that's on the left has priority. And in this case, it's definitely subtraction. So 8 minus 3, we'll do that first. Copy, copy. And then the last step in this case is addition. 15 and 5, 20. Nice job. Okay? Alright, so let's take a look at a few that have the parentheses, a few that have possibly something a little more complicated. But that wasn't bad at all. Okay? Got this one right out of your book, I think. And then the raised dot 3. Alright? So, here we go. Parentheses. Oh, yep, look. So I'm going to do what's in there first. 10 minus 4 is 6. I'm going to copy, 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 copy. Great. Parentheses, really, parentheses meaning grouping symbols, grouping other operations. This was grouping this operation, we did it. There are parentheses, but they're not acting as grouping operations. Alright? Hopefully that makes sense. I could write this. Another way to write this would be like this. These are exactly the same. Alright, so parentheses are done. Now exponents, yep, right in here. That's why it's good to know your exponents. 6 squared is... Good. Now a lot of kids would hop in there and call this 46 times 3 and be over 140 or so. Nope. Not you. You're thinking. You're done with parentheses. You're done with the exponents. Now you're going to move on to multiplication or division. Multiplication is over here, so that gets priority. And then multiply. It's 108. Just want to double check. I don't want to be wrong. And then the last step in this case, addition. So there are a lot of ways that you could possibly go wrong when evaluating that last one we just did. Okay, very nice. All right, that was a good one. I like that. Let's go ahead and do this one then. I think this was taken out of, I don't know where it was taken out of actually. It's probably taken out of your book. Let's see, we just did that one. Good. So 6 divided by 3 plus 24 minus 25. All right. Now again, you cannot do these in your head. It's best for you to write them out. Write every single step. Okay? Even if you think you can do it in your head, don't. Write it out. I mean, don't do it in your head. Yes, write it out. Alright, here we go. You do it. Alright, let's see if you're right. There's no parentheses. There are no exponents. Multiply or divide. So I got division. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Copy, 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 copy. Nope. Don't let this fool you. Go into multiply or divide. Yep. There's a little bit of division. It's 5. Copy and copy. Now the last steps, subtract or add. You got to move left to right. So we're going to move left to right. It's like waiting in line at the snack bar. Okay? We're waiting to get your food. This operation's first, and then that one's next. So this is 26 minus 5. The last operation in this case is subtraction. Very good. All right. You are following the correct order of operations. All right. We'll do a couple others and then call it a day. Let's try this one. This is a good one. Well, not like the last one wasn't, but 6 plus. Let's go with it. All right, here we go. Checklist, parentheses. Yep. Copy, 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 copy. Good. So, we took care of the parentheses. This parentheses here really just, it means multiplication, right? This is 3 times 11. So, next step, exponents. Very good. Exponents are done. Multiply or divide, right there. Copy, copy, copy. Multiply or divide, nope. Add or subtract, yep. This gets done first because it's on the left. I'm copying every step, every move almost. And it's going to be 14, I believe. Right? Last step in that case, you add to get this, and then subtract. Alright. Very good. Let's go ahead and we'll do a couple more. Make sure you're good at this. You gotta be good at this. Let's try this one. Alright, go ahead. Good. Parentheses first. Do what's in there. Subtraction. Copy, 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 copy. Very good. Now I'm thinking, any more parentheses? No. Any exponents? Yeah. 3 squared. Good. Parentheses, done. Exponents, done. Multiplication, right there. Oops. Fine. And then in the last step here we have subtraction. It's -3. We'll get to that part later, but at least the steps here are key, and we followed them correctly. We'll talk about the integers in the very, very near future. Alright. Nice job. Let's go with one more example. I think they took this out of your assignment or your textbook. I can't remember. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, we're kicking it up a few notches. Bam. All right. Bam. All right. Here we go. Gonna go with parentheses. Gonna do the operations inside. Now it's getting complicated. Now that you're within the parentheses, you gotta follow the order of operations. You're gonna multiply or divide first, and then add or subtract. So look. Division is in there. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Take my word for it. I'm copying all this stuff. Here's the parentheses, the +1, the 2, the +8. And then this is done. And then outside this is that. So the only thing I did here in this very first step was this right here, and it was 6. So I copied everything else. That's the key to success. That's the key to getting these accurate and correct. So I did, within the parentheses, I did one thing, and there's still another operation in the parentheses, so that'll get my attention. 6 and 1 is 7, so this right here is 7. I'm going to copy the parentheses, the 2 outside, the 2 outside, the plus, and this. I bet in a class of 30, I bet 14 kids who want to add this and get 10, but that's wrong. So again, let's continue with the order of operations. Alright, so we're looking at this. We did the parentheses, now exponents. 7 squared, okay? This one is being squared, so 7 squared is 49. The 2 is pushed up against the parentheses. It just means multiplication. Okay? So, parentheses are done. Exponents are done. The last thing to think about is, okay, now what? Multiply or divide. Yep. That's 98. And then the very last step is no multiplication or division. The last step is, oh look, addition. 8 and 8 is 16. Carry the 1. It's 106. Alright, so when you follow the order of operations, just you have to be thinking constantly, okay, parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, add or subtract. Got to be thinking of that constantly. And another step for success is writing every single step down, okay? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is how I learned it. Parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, depends, and then add or subtract. I like to mix it up. Alright, thanks.